Married to Medicine, Season 12, Episode 12, The Five Love Languages. Okay, so we start with Angel. Look like she getting dressed for something, and she get a phone call from her friend Bernard. Now remember, he was her friend that showed up to the family reunion that Toya had an issue with, this and this and that, because she don't understand the dating world, right? But anywho, Bernard is coming to Jamaica. Basically, he should be flying in this particular day, which is day 2. She just got to go, at least let Jackie and them know ahead of time. So, and them like, okay, well, he about to come. Give us separate rooms so that there's no confusion about is we together, is we not, because technically they're only friends, right? It was Toya who was making it all extra, thinking that just because she showed up with somebody like that doesn't mean that's their boyfriend. Like, she been married for so long, she forget how single people operate. I don't know why Toya and Eugene is so worried about what Dr. Heavily is going to think about what they got going on with this trip. I guess right now they're getting dressed or whatever. It might be for dinner. But just thinking about like doing a couples game. Eugene is kind of putting it off on Toya. Toya's like, okay, cool. Just don't be mad and, complain about the game that I throw out to people. But like Eugene was just saying, it's mostly, I think it's just how they feel that Heavenly will react to whatever they got going on. Because, she don't see it for them. She think everything that Toya going to do is going to fail, especially when it comes to this Met Gala thing, which was the point of the conversation. Like, we do got to talk about it, but is it going to turn into an argument once we get Dr. Heavenly's inputs? So it actually was a little nice game that they started off with when they went to dinner. Words of affirmation, or not words of affirmation, Jesus Christ. That was one of the love languages that most of the people chose, but the 5 love languages. I believe it was some type of book or something that Toya is pulling this from, but basically asking everybody to go around and say what's their love languages, or at least the most important ones, and do the partner know or do not know, whatever. So I ain't gonna go through each person, but everybody went around the table and said what theirs was and wasn't. But when it got to Quad and King, I guess out of everybody, I think they were looking at them like, okay, we noticed some differences in their relationship versus when they first was together and all over each other and honeymoon stage, and we, banging 15 times a week. Now it's like, we coasting, and I think everybody can see that, and they're a little bit concerned, but we already know, fast forward to today, they broke up and all that little stuff. So to me, I don't think, like, at least for me as a viewer, I'm not gonna focus on that. Well, everything was going good for about 30 seconds into our meal. Let's see, at least everybody got a couple bites in, because sometimes people don't even get a bite in before the stuff gets started, right? But we still keeping it a little light. Toya pretty much brings up Mimi's comment about not being safe around her on the trip. So should she come or should she not come? And that came from Simone, I think, brought that back to Toya from that conversation they had, whatever, before the trip happened. And Mimi did backtrack a little bit to say, oh, I didn't say that I was like scared or nothing. I just said that I asked them, was Toya a safe person? Like, just in general, like, are you a safe person to be around? Like, what kind of person are you? And Simone said, well, listen, I repeat what things are said verbatim, okay? You see, that's what I'm saying. The new people don't understand the rules all the time. If you say something and somebody heard you say it, they are going to go back and they are going to repeat it. That person is going to repeat what they said to them to ask you what it said, and your job is to stand on it and say, yes, I said that. But if you say, oh no, what I said was this, see, now that's where the problem comes in. Okay, Miss Therapist girl, We're gonna have to fix that. But Dr. Mimi goes on to explain her backpedaling, just to say, like, I mean, what is a good friend, or what is a safe friend? For her, she was just thinking of all the things that she's seen of Toya and her reactions and what she does, and giving examples of, like her projecting things where, I'm in an argument with Heaven, you in an argument with Heavenly, but then you stop that to come argue with me. Like, come on now, like stuff like that. So regardless, Eugene kind of took over the conversation just to let them know, like, they don't know each other like that, but it will be in the best interest for them to get to know each other that way. She ain't got to feel this type of way about having safe friends or not. Because, I mean, technically, we're not even friends, for real, right? But get to know us, right? Come over. We cool. I mean, so there's a second game. Red flag, green flag. So it's going to read out some questions, and they supposed to raise the flag if it's, a red flag for them, it's obviously a no-no in a relationship, or a green flag, something we cool with and you accept. Not going to go through all the questions, but we get to one about boundaries, okay? Which was something to the effect of your spouse using their boundaries to not grow, something like that, like as an excuse to not grow, elevate, better themselves, basically. And so they all had to think about that one for a minute, because that was a little bit of a doozy of a question. I'm like, what? Who wrote that? But obviously that is a bit of a red flag, right? Because everybody put their flag up, but Angel said, Can I get a little example of that? Because, right, what does this technically mean, And Toya like, oh, man, well, I got an example, but I don't know if I want to use this. And I'm like, geez, I bet this ain't got nothing to do with the dang question. But she brings up her and Angel's back and forth when it comes to Bernard, right? Because Toya was trying to hook her up with a friend, but when she seen Bernard, she just automatically assumed that, oh, this her man, so why she want me to hook her up with somebody just for me to get what's the word? Because if she didn't want to look bad on behalf of her friend if Angel dated him but chose not to in the end, right? But that's the thing, like, you're not hooking her, like, I think she was thinking like you're hooking her up to marry the man. That's not really how it works in the world. We got to date a few times just to see if we actually like each other, because she probably would. What if she don't like him on the first day? Was you going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, she just, I spent all this time arranging this date, and this how she do my friend, oh my goodness. I'm sure it was not going to be devastating to whoever you was trying to hook her up with, because I guess what? He's single too, and I bet you, have a girlfriend. I mean, not like a girlfriend, but has a girl or two that he talks to in his spare time in the meantime until he can find somebody just like her, right? But as Angel was trying to explain the whole situation as how Toya basically cock-blocked her in front of her old dude, everybody agrees that Toya, you the one that's off, like, you the one that crossed the boundary here. That's not how it worked. And she do know that she was wrong, but she, of course, trying to spin it to say, oh, well, that's just what, 20-year-olds, little young people do. But us in our 40s and things like that, which Angel is only in her 30s, we don't do that. Like I said, Toya, you've been married for how long? You don't know what these girls do out here in these single world, in these streets. It's nothing like what they did back in the 90s when you and Eugene got together. And girl code still stands. You wasn't supposed to say nothing in front of that man like that. Okay. Yeah, pretty much after Angel states her claim about how she don't need nobody to hook her up with nobody because, she got it. Okay. Which, she's a pretty girl. We know she's not starving for no damn attention, I'm sure. But anywho, Toya lost the whole crowd with that one because nobody can agree. Like I said, it was dumb. Cock blocking 101. Girl, you wrong, you wrong. It is what it is. So Eugene threw up the flag and said, we about to quit this. And because technically, they both are hosting, and she did agree before they got there that she was going to be on her bestest behavior as possible, right? So she said, all right, Eugene, you can have this one. And we dismissed the men, go smoke their cigars on the side. And us ladies got to talk about this Met Gala. So the Met Gala conversation did not really go as planned. Dr. Jackie, this is her thing, but remember, she put Toya in charge. But for some reason, Toya hasn't done anything yet, and the time is, the clock is ticking. The date is coming up faster than we gonna know it. So we're reaching out to the group because we're gonna need some help. Normally, how we've always done it was we donated, each person put in money for the pot. I believe they always give a donation to somebody. They always honor somebody. They always, what else they did? They did an auction on the last one. It was things to do, Toya bought her wine, her only contribution. Jesus Christ, can't even say words. But anyway, with this, now everybody's getting a little bit frustrated because, we thought Jackie and Toya had it, right? We thought this was all on you. So why y'all asking us for stuff and for help? And we don't even know what's going on. We don't know when it's supposed to be, where it's at. It's nothing planned. Brandy's like, well, yeah, I'm a new girl. Y'all ain't asked for no input, opinions. I have no nothing. So I'm not sure how you expect me to help out with anything when I don't even know what's going on. And Dr. Mimi was the same way. Hey, I ain't a newbie, but I think I've been here long enough and ain't nobody told me nothing either. Contessa, hey, I ain't nowhere new. And I don't even know nothing. So this is a big argument because Heavenly is the main one that's fed up. She can't stand nothing that Toya do. So every little second she's just yelling "Ooh, girl, I can't stand you. You ain't doing nothing right. This is the worst idea, Dr. Jackie, you ever had. I can't believe you put her in charge. This some bullshit. Toya, you on some bullshit." And Toya is keeping it together. I will say this. She did not pop back off at Heaven like she normally does. She tried to stay as calm as possible to try to still talk to the other ladies here. Dr. Eugene was over there. He's seeing the mess. So he thinking, well, let me go over there and try to break it up and save my wife. Come on. Because remember, they had that timeout rule. If anything happens, we just going to do timeout and send everybody back to their rooms. Toya fought back basically and said, listen, I got this. You good? It's only Heavenly that's the one that's acting up. And Eugene well, I know, but it's just too much right now. And said the boys don't went off to the side, but it's distracting them and what they got going on. So that's why he was kind of frustrated. We can't even enjoy chilling with ourselves because we hearing their asses over here complaining about some stuff that ain't, you know what I'm saying? Supposed to be on vacation and stuff. So he go off and he do his little venting, with King and stuff. And the ladies continue the conversation. Of course, Heavenly is still frustrated because how is we going to get this done? Who going to help? Obviously she going to help Dr. Jackie no matter what. But it's the Toya of it all. And she just yelling at Toya you don't know how to do nothing. You ain't no businesswoman. You just don't know nothing, girl. You can't do nothing. And Toya, like I said, just sitting there, just taking it, just defeated. And at this point, we realize we're not going to get too far with this conversation. It's late. Let's all go back, let's go to the rooms. Good night. And we can refresh this tomorrow. New day. We're going to figure it out. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully we'll figure it out. And what breaks this all up was a damn cat. Dang stray cat jumped on the dang table and started eating food. It always be something that breaks up the whole little thing, change the mood. So we ain't got to go away necessarily mad, So I thought that was funny because it reminded me on vacation in Orlando. And these dang birds just kept coming up to us while we was eating at the restaurant. We was eating outside. And these birds, they just used to the people, I guess, and just was coming up and grabbing stuff. And just right there. Brandy's husband finally arrives. It's the next day, and he's still a little bit late. So he's gonna make the best of the time that he got here because he's only gonna be here that one day. And then remember, she actually gonna leave early too because the kids' first day of school. So make the best of what they got going on. Them four kids, they don't got the babysitters like everybody else, and pretty much everybody else kids is actually grown except for like Contessa. She got a couple little ones still. Um, and Dr. Mimi got hers is young as well. But being in this group, yeah, you gonna have to have a sitter somewhere because it's always something and somewhere to go. So while everybody is getting ready for the next activity, Eugene and Toya are talking about their grievances with Heavenly, basically about last night. Like, it was, for Eugene, it was more like, well, Heavenly was acting up. I did see that. You did right, Toya, because you did not act up. Like I said, she was actually pretty calm, like she normally would have popped off, but she didn't. But since Eugene ain't Heavenly's wife, he can't just go be like, Heavenly, shut your ass up, or come on, take a time out, or you know what I'm saying? Stop. He got, it was just best if he just told Toya, well, you bring your asshole shit. Like, if she the one acting up, then we can remove ourselves and let her act up by her goddamn self. But it didn't, Toya was cool and calm and collected. So, obviously they were able to work it out. But for Eugene, it was more like, well, dang, at least, I'm trying to step up for you, right? But Damon just be so quiet sometimes. And I just need him to just tell Heavenly to shut up. Just one time, please. Like, it will help out a lot if he did. That's all, basically, he ain't saying these words. Remember, I'm just translating. But on the other hand, we got Heavenly and Damon thinking about all that happened. And because, obviously, Heavenly, I just can't believe Toya don't act like this. And Eugene, like, I just can't believe it. And Damon, well, I mean, I'm cool with Eugene, and as long as he doesn't disrespect you, then we're good. But he didn't go too far or nothing, so that's why I didn't say anything. Everybody just be respectful. That's how Damon be like. As long as everybody respect each other, he be cool. He has spoken up to Heavenly when she was acting up. Something like we have seen it before. Like, we can't say we haven't, where he be like, Heavenly, come on, or Heavenly, shut up, or he pull her to, he always pull her to the side and stuff and stop. Does she do it all the time? No, but she does calm down and say, okay, look, okay, Daddy, okay. But so they're just gonna have to see how they can get through the rest of this trip, just being around them, because it's just Heavenly just can't stand Toya. That's all it is. She just can't. So Bernard arrives, and he kind of wasn't as excited to see Angel as she thought he would be. I mean, she told him it was a couples trip, but I think maybe the couples trip, like the couples title of it all, is what making him feel a little bit uncomfortable, because technically they're not a couple. So, and I think he already experienced Toya and what she did. So it's like, I think he a little weirded out, just a little bit uncomfortable. But she trying to make him, as relaxed as possible. But I think he thought that it was gonna be like a one-on-one situation, and that's not what this is. So everybody is piling up into the RVs. They are going to go on, I think, two separate occasions. I think they're about to split up. So girls gonna go on the rafters with the massage thing. I think some of us have probably seen that on Facebook, where it's like you floating on the river, and the dudes give you I don't know if they're doing that one though. The one when they wash you with all that soap or something. Is it that one? Or is it just the other one when they just float down a river on the raft? But either way, that's what they gonna do. Because Eugene said massage, so that's the only thing I could think of. And the men are gonna do their own thing, which may or may not include them a massage for themselves. Bernard walks up to Eugene in the van, so it was a little bit of surprise for them. Like, well, dang, we ain't know first off who he was, and second, did anybody know he was coming? He here for who? But here for Angel. Okay, cool. Eugene was like, "Hey, Damon, you think at some point later, we can I can pull you to the side and we can talk or whatever?" And Damon was like, shaking his head, no. And they like, for real, no, what you mean? And he like, well, because, I don't want to get into all that drama stuff. That's not me. That's not me. I ain't in it. I don't want to, like, we can talk, but don't bring all that drama. Like, for real, for real. That's the girl stuff. I just want to have fun. I don't want to get into it. So Eugene is like, okay, fine. So yes, the ladies go on the rafters in the muddy water. So of course some of the ladies like, oh my God, this dirty water. It was just the floating thing. It wasn't the other, the other kind. And the men went onto a little private beach where they can kick back and whatever. And when they get to their little kickback, Eugene brings up last night because he not over it at all. He a bit fed up. He just wants Damon to please acknowledge that Heavenly, your wife, is making things difficult for my wife, Toya. And I just can't stand for it anymore. And I just want you to acknowledge that your wife is the cause of these problems. And all I need you to do is say something, like, to her. Like, you don't have, like, I don't want you to say nothing to us, but we just need you to say something to her. And I'm sure the other, like, he ain't speaking for the other, well, he might be speaking for the other men because ain't nobody else saying nothing. But they all know who they talk about because he said, ain't gonna bring up no names, but we all know who it is. So Damon's like, look, I mean, the wives, we can't control them, obviously. They strong women, do what they do, this, and that. And Eugene's like, I mean, obviously, duh, I understand that. That's not the point. You, sir, and Heavenly, that is the point. We need you to put your foot down when it comes to her because technically, like, you know what I'm saying? I know they know each other like this. Like, y'all got to remember, before the show even started and all that stuff, Eugene got his career started with the help of Damon. That was his mentor, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like they don't know each other. You know what I'm saying? I know that you a family man and all this stuff, and you wouldn't let things fly. So why are you letting Heavenly go off like this without saying nothing? So I think that's just pretty much the frustration that Eugene has going on. And we just end the episode with Damon just saying, like, I mean, listen, we gonna either help out with this Met Gala, because Eugene does bring it up, like somebody did say we were putting them in charge so that they can fail. So Damon's rebuttal is, yeah, so we gonna help out or we not gonna help out. We'll get through this Met Gala. We're going to nip this in the butt right now because keep going over and over it is just something obviously he don't want to do. But is it going to be over? I doubt it because Heavenly's not going to shut up. And I think the more Eugene is sitting around absorbing it, he's going to eventually say something that he doesn't want to, like he keeps saying, he just got to keep walking away. Because once I do say something and step that boundary, him and Damon is not going to be the same. And that's where they're not trying to go. You know what I'm saying? But this was the episode, Married to Medicine. They still in Jamaica. I think we got like one more episode. Brandy and them gotta go because kids and all. And yeah, we'll see how the rest of this trip go. Catch y'all next time. Married to Medicine. Peace. Thanks for watching.